Chapter 60. The Mountain of Royal Cremation. Certainly, as soon as King Asop learned of the Lord Buddha's parinirvana, he arranged to transport the sacred body for funeral rites in the cities. However, a miraculous event occurred, making it impossible to move the sacred body. Consequently, the king commanded his people to prepare an area for the Lord Buddha's royal cremation ceremony. The chosen site was near the stone slab where the Lord Buddha had attained parinirvana. This place was a low hill, only about 50 meters high. King Asop ordered a multitude of his forces to clear the forest, cut down the undergrowth, and transport stones to be arranged in layers around the gentle slopes of the hill, transforming it into terraced platforms. These platforms were intended for temporary ceremonial pavilions to receive distinguished guests, royalty, and the common people who would come to participate in the rites. From that time forth, the place was given a new name, the Mountain of Royal Cremation. That period was considered the most tumultuous for a ceremony of such importance and urgency. King Asop, who was like the unprepared host of the funeral, had only 24 days to make all the arrangements. Nobles, high-ranking officials, great millionaires, wealthy merchants, and common folk from nearby areas, upon hearing of the Lord Buddha's parinirvana, all journeyed in vast numbers to pay their respects to the sacred body. And on the final day, the 25th day, which was the day of the royal cremation, people from all directions hastened to pay their last respects and participate in the Lord Buddha's cremation ceremony. A small river named Kakanthi, which flowed towards the Mountain of Royal Cremation, was at that time teeming with boats of all sizes. Most of them were rowed from a large trading community to the east. This community, significant for its commerce, might not have held the status of a city, as it had no ruler. It was more of a residential area for merchants and millionaires engaged in trade. Yet, people commonly called it Ming-shi-weche, making it seem like a twin city to Paznare. This settlement was located in the Ming district of Nafanpatham province, about 2 kilometers east of Phrapatham Shidi, encircled by an oval-shaped canal. When the people along the banks of the river saw the sight of countless boats rushing towards the ceremonial site, a scene so crowded and unprecedented in history, and as every boat belonged to nobility, they renamed that small river Metaya, the River of Lords, because they saw so many beautiful vessels of the lords heading towards the ceremony, he explained. During the preparations for the royal cremation, King Asop procured a special kind of cloth woven from metallic fibers, highly resistant to heat, to wrap the Lord Buddha's body. This was to ensure that all the sacred relics of Brahmasarakavat would be collected completely, without even a fragment the size of a sesame seed being lost. Thus, after the royal cremation ceremony concluded, he was able to gather all the relics intact, meticulously identifying and categorizing which relic belonged to which part of the body. Later, as news of the Lord Buddha's parinirvana spread to various kingdoms, the rulers of 7 major realms, Anga, Magadha, Kasi, Kosala, Vathi, Vamsa, and Panchala, all sent envoys to request a share of the sacred relics. Initially, King Asop considered keeping them solely in his possession, for he had made a vow to the Lord Buddha to enshrine his relics in the various places where he and the Lord Buddha had previously journeyed, and interred hair relics for Kisa Feta in advance. However, he recognized that some of the places where he had made these symbolic interments lay within the territories of the rulers who were now requesting the relics. Furthermore, a respected elder Brahmin named Dona, whom all the rulers revered, advised that it was proper to divide the relics among all the kingdoms. Otherwise, a war might erupt over them, leading to needless bloodshed, an event that should not mar the history associated with the Lord Buddha. Therefore, the Venerable Donna Brahmana volunteered to divide the sacred relics into 8 equal portions using a golden measuring vessel, fanon. It was during this time that you who were then Mahather Achyuta, one of the Lord Buddha's chief disciples, arrived. You then proposed to King Asapa and Donna Brahmana that a stupa should be constructed in King Asapa's kingdom to enshrine the sacred relics. This would be in keeping with the Lord Buddha's trust and intention in choosing this place for his parinirvana, so that this stupa would serve as a representation of the Lord Buddha and a place for people to remember him. At that time, you, in your capacity as Mahather Achyuta, the chief disciple, along with King Asok of Kazanare and Donna Brahmana, jointly resolved to construct the first stupa to house the Lord Buddha's sacred relics in this kingdom. However, you perceived that the area of Mying Sriwite was a more strategically advantageous location than Kazanare. It was a commercial hub, frequented by numerous traveling merchants, a crossroads where people journeying north and south converged. Therefore, Donna Brahmana donated a plot of land to the west of Mying Sriwite and proposed that this stupa be built upon a small natural earthen mound, only about 25 meters high. This site is the current location of the Phra Patham Chedi. Donna Brahmana himself also constructed another stupa in the center of the city to enshrine the golden measuring vessel used to divide the relics, and also to serve as the resting place for his own bones after his death. Both these stupas were identical in shape and size.